Hello, everyone. Coach Angel from Angel's Bedrock Coaching Services, and welcome back. Today is blog day, and I'm going to continue on documenting my journey through the WildFit 90 challenge that I'm in. I'm now doing week 11. So it is Monday of week 11, which is day 71, if I'm doing my math correctly. And we are transitioning from spring into summer. So this is the first time within the WildFit program that we're actually learning about the second season of summer. We went into deep spring. We went into, like I said last week on Friday, the deep spring is a challenge level spring. And we're transitioning now into summer to see what that feels like, to teach our body that we don't live in a fat burning mode. It's a visit. We visit there and then let's go visit sugar burning mode. So that's what it is to transition from spring to summer, is just a way, really what we're eating is signaling our body to what fat metabolism, sugar metabolism, right? We're just telling it what we want it to use as fuel. It will use sugar if it's available. If it's not available, it will use fat. And if that's not available, that's when it goes to protein, autophagy, etc. So I want to talk today about that. However, I briefly mentioned this on Friday, and I got kind of choked up a little bit about the anxiety that I get when we move and transition from spring into summer because of the instant thought of me being back to my 370 plus pounds. So I wanted to take this time to kind of give a little context to that and a little bit of story behind where that anxiety came from. So for those of you who don't know, I was an athlete. I went to college, played on the US team, for a year. I was very, very athletic. Now, I grew up in probably a lower middle class family. We had our own garden. So my mom cooked for us. We harvested our own foods, had our own compost pile. So I overall was pretty healthy until I would say maybe junior high-ish age, as we started becoming a little bit better off. And I would start eating foods from, what my peers were eating and visiting them and eating that. But because of my athleticism, my weight was always in check. So I was never viewed as overweight. However, I was always teased for my weight because I wasn't the, twiggy person. I was very muscular. When I stopped my level of athleticism, after I got out of college, I played university sports, got a scholarship, played a year on the US team. But once that level stopped and I was just doing regular intramurals, like summer sports, even though it was 2, 3, 4 times a week, I started gaining weight and I didn't understand why. And then I got married, had some kids, gained even more weight, became toxic, had toxemia. So battling with that, on top of trying to raise a kid, I struggled and started the yo-yo dieting, not ever understanding what was wrong. I was following the rules. I was eating within the food pyramid. I wasn't overeating, wasn't eating excessive amounts, at least not at the beginning. And I just couldn't understand what was happening. So I would go on diet after diet after diet. And some of them were very successful and I would lose weight. But every single time I would gain that back and more. And so I was on this roller coaster that was just climbing. It was just climbing to the point I got to 370 pounds. Now that's the last documented weight. I know I was more than that after, but it was devastating to me to be an athlete that I felt so fit that I thought I was going to be doing these loved sports, even through the intramural or city programs. I thought I was going to be doing them into my 60s. And I'm currently 55 and I haven't been doing them for probably almost 10 years now. I had to give them up. So emotionally, that was very devastating to me. I instantly, now that I know I need to cut out some refined sugars and the junk sugars and all of that, when I got into a state of ketosis and my body was loving that, that fear of, if I reintroduce anything that was a carbohydrate, I would be right back there. Now, I've worked really hard all weekend. I'm trying not to get overly emotional here because I'll break down. That was to be in that space again, to be practically immobile. I couldn't go up and down the stairs. I would holler down to somebody to bring things up for me. I would stay in my little realm of a world. And when I would go out, I would pretend I was happy and go lucky and be my normal outgoing self. But inside I was crying. I didn't know how to break free. And no matter who I turned to, the industries, doctors, etc., it was just the same old, and nothing was helping. And I was still in pain. That's where I'm coming from. That point of pain, that point of desperation is what I think of instantly when I want to start reintroducing some of these summer foods. So that's where my battle was. Now that I no longer have the diet mindset, I'm in a much better place mentally and physically to understand how my body is reacting, to understand what I ingest and what I'm feeding it. And the sources of those products are key to my health. No one else was telling me this, which is why I'm a coach, which is why I'm so adamant about this, which is why I preach and get angry at the industries so much. These were industries and people that are supposed to be supporting us and have our backs, and they don't. So now that I kind of gave that little tidbit of my journey, I want to talk about transitioning into spring to summer now. Now, I was in a spring, which was a new iteration within WildFit. It's being tested within the community called Hunter Spring, where I was actually taking a break from plant life. I was eating only animal products, eating head to toe. So yes, I did have organ meats. That's for another day. However, what that allowed me to do was see how my body would react without plant life in it. So basically I was detoxing from any plant matter. And let me tell you, I was thriving. I was still working out every day. I was still, had energy. I was drinking water. I was feeling amazing, sleeping amazing. But now that we're transitioning from spring into summer, I have to be even more mindful, because on Friday, I mentioned to you guys about how when you start reintroducing things, you have to reintroduce them slowly. Well, now for me, that's any plant matter. I haven't had any. I've taken a break from that for 2 weeks. So now to reintroduce that, I have to be cautious. So what I did this morning was I bought like a spinach and arugula blend mix. And I typically, for my morning breakfast, sometimes I have an alkagizer, but sometimes I actually eat my salad. So today, instead of having a salad full of vegetables, because I'm slowly incorporating things, I had just that mix with some eggs on top. And it tasted fine and great while I was eating it. But within about an hour, I noticed that I was having a reaction. I was feeling like something was stuck in my throat. Noticed I was drinking more water. I was almost trying to eat something else to try and appease that, like to settle that down. So what I want to do and why I wanted to bring this up specifically is each of us have different reactions to things. When I say slowly incorporate something back in, this is exactly why. Was it the spinach? Was it the arugula? Now I won't know because I had a blend of it, but I'm going to still have it the rest of this week. See if I continue to have that same reaction. And then I can figure out, okay, well, next week, maybe if I take a break from that again and see how my body reacts. Will it react in the same way? Will it all of a sudden that symptom go away? These are things and how we can learn what foods react within our own bodies, because my microbiome, your microbiome, it's all different. How we react to foods are different, which is why each of our journeys are going to be different. But I will say this, we can't do it alone. If you want to go fast, you can do it alone. But let me tell you, if you want to go far, you're going to need a community. You're going to need support, whether it's just family members, whether you reach out to a coach, whether you reach out to a community of like-minded people. You really need support along your journey, because we are going to have times of highs and we are going to have times of lows. Which that brings me to another tip that I would love to share with you guys today. One of the things that I love to do when I'm coaching with somebody is get them to identify feelings, body aches, etc., where they're at, etc. And then as we move through the program, periodically, I throw those exact same questions to them, and I just get them to write down their feelings or whatever. And I'll bring up sometimes, well, you said you had the knee pain. How is that feeling? And 90% of the time, people don't even realize that that is something that went away. Understanding that these are things to celebrate. Every little micro change in your body is a step towards optimal health. Understanding that, celebrating that is motivating you to continue on and stay the course. That is my job as a coach, is to help you understand, to help you realize and see maybe things you don't see. This is another reason we ask you to take pictures of yourself. We see ourselves every single day, and we may not see the changes that are occurring within us, even if that scale, which I tell you to get off the scale, but if you're one of those that weigh yourself and it's not changing, please don't use that as a be-all end-all to your success or failure on this program. You need to document all these little steps that have changed: your hair, your nails, your skin, your body shape, taking measurements, again, those pictures to be able to see how you are improving. Just today, somebody on one of the calls had mentioned she hasn't really released much weight, but she's down 4 dress sizes. 4 dress sizes, that's huge. Because again, the mass of muscle weighs more per area. So you could have this much fat weigh the same as this much muscle. So I want to make sure I'm drilling that home for you guys, because it's so important for us to be able to truly identify how we are being successful. You are making good decisions. Celebrate that. Celebrate the fact that you are becoming more aware. Celebrate the fact that you're becoming more conscious and around your surroundings. Okay. One last thing that I wanted to talk about, which is something we go over within the Wild Fit program as well, and it's kind of related to this topic of each of us being different, is the tools that we provide within the Wild Fit program are universal. They apply to everyone, because we're teaching how to create more awareness with our relationship with food, to create that food freedom, how to break down the timeline, how to track it along, how it feels in our body, all of that. It's the same for everyone. However, where you are along your path to your optimal health may vary. Within WildFit, we talk about these as categories. So there are 3 different categories that we place and try and have people self-identify them at, and it is a self-identifying purpose. Now, me as a coach, I will help walk you through that and try and keep it real. But what these categories are, if somebody is in a category 1, they're considered relatively healthy. Like, they aren't looking to release any more weight. 5-10 pounds here and there. Our bodies were meant to fluctuate. I think I've mentioned this before. So being within that range is kind of normal. And they don't have any severe ailments or health conditions that they need to be aware of and watching. So they're considered relatively healthy. So that is somebody that's in a category 1. And they would go about living WildFit in one particular way, versus somebody that maybe is in category 2, which is where I consider myself. We are in category 2 when you're about 30, 35 pounds-ish, maybe, that you're looking to release still, maybe, or you have some ailments that you're having to battle and work with. So you may be where you feel you should be weight-wise, but maybe you're battling, hypertension still, or you're battling diabetes or pre-diabetic, things of that nature. So that could possibly put you into a category 2 as well. One or the other, or both, that are somewhat manageable and not anything that's too extreme. Therefore, my plan is going to be different than somebody that is pretty much looking at a maintenance program. I'm still in it for a weight release and overall health, and still have goals and to achieve a certain level of health. Versus somebody that is category 3. Now, these are those that are looking to have even maybe more weight to release, have a more wide set of conditions, possibly chronic conditions or diseases, which they have to be managing. Now, again, this is an and or. Most people who happen to be obese, which is what that category is, actually, technically, I'm considered obese still because I'm not within that 15 to 20 pound range of my goal weight. So when you're obese, you typically have some chronic conditions you may have to deal with. You may have hypertension. You may be either pre-diabetic or type 2 diabetic. You may have cholesterol issues and like I said, hypertension. There's so many different ailments that we could have on top of autoimmune diseases and Hashimoto's thyroid issues, etc. Understanding that all of these chronic conditions are tied to how our health is. By getting and regaining control of our health, it is going to help you take leaps and bounds towards a more vibrant you. These are the folks that are where I was. And I'm going to cry again because I am so passionate about this right now. I want to help you achieve your goals. I want you to regain control. I want you to see what your future and the possibilities of that future are for you if you just make a few minor little changes. And pretty soon you'll be looking back and like, who the heck is that person? That's where I'm at now, is I can't believe who I was even just a year ago. And that was after already losing at least 160 pounds. So now that I'm closer to my goal weight, I'm more confident to be out here. I know I can help you. I really want to help you. I'd love to work with you. Please reach out. I want to teach, I want to share, and I want to help the world break out of this matrix, because those industries are not helping us. They don't have our backs. They're out there for the money. And their goal is just to get us to eat more non-nourishment. That's what it is. It's not even food. It's non-foods. Their purpose and their goal in life is just to get us to eat more so that they can make more money. And my goal and my purpose now is to break us out of that matrix. So thank you so much for your time today. I truly appreciate you all so very, very much. I would love to speak with you more. Just reach out anytime and we can talk through where you are in your journey and how we could possibly work together and how I can help you navigate potentially to get you to that optimal health goal that you have. Thank you so much. Take care, be safe, and I'm sending you all many, many blessings. Bye-bye.